Companies spend an absolute fortune on sophisticated software, right? All these tools designed to make their teams faster, smarter, more efficient. But what happens when that expensive new system just lands with a thud? When the very people it's supposed to help see it as more of a roadblock than a ramp? Well, a brand new 2025 study has dug deep into this exact problem. And let me tell you, what it found could completely change how you think about technology at work. Turns out the real key to success, it's not what most of us think at all. I mean, it's a classic headache for any manager, right? You invest in this state-of-the-art system that promises to streamline everything, and then you watch as adoption just flatlines. Your team keeps using their old spreadsheets, they find little workarounds, or they just grit their teeth and use the new tool as little as humanly possible. Why does this happen? What is the disconnect between the value you paid for and the reality on the ground? So, a team of researchers, Navarro and his colleagues, decided to tackle this question head-on in a new paper. They zeroed in on a specific kind of software called Business Process Management Systems, or BPMS, to figure out what really makes an employee actually use and, more importantly, value a system. And what they uncovered really challenges some of the most common beliefs we have about rolling out new tech. So what in the world is a BPMS? Well, the best way to think about it is like the digital nervous system for a whole company. It's the software that manages and automates how work flows through the organization. From making sure a task goes to the right person to keeping a whole project moving smoothly from A to B. For a lot of modern companies, it's really the backbone of how things get done. The researchers wanted to go deeper than just looking at usage stats. They weren't just asking, hey, are people logging in? That's too simple. They asked a much more powerful question. What actually creates the belief in an employee's mind that this system is genuinely useful for their job? Because that belief, that perception, that's the real magic key to unlocking a tool's potential. And that brings us to the single most important idea in this entire study: perceived usefulness. Now, this isn't some vague, fuzzy feeling. It's a very specific, measurable belief that using this tool will directly make you better at what you do. You'll be faster, more accurate, just more effective. If you want people to actually use your software and get a real return on that investment, this is the bullseye you have to aim for. Okay, so before a system can be seen as useful, it first has to be seen as a high-quality product. But what does quality actually mean to the person who has to use it every day? The study didn't just guess. It actually measured the specific things that build this perception. And what they found is that it all comes down to three key pillars. First, there's service quality. That's all about having great training and getting help quickly when you're stuck. Next is input quality. Basically, how easy and painless is it to put information into the system? And finally, you have the general system attributes. Is it fast? Is it reliable? Does it work well with other tools? So let's put that in plain English. A quality system is one where your team feels supported, not just left to figure it out on their own. It's a system where entering data isn't a frustrating nightmare. And at the end of the day, it's a system that just works. It's fast, it's always available, and it plays nicely with the other tools people rely on. If you can get those three things right, your team is going to see that system as a high-quality tool. But here's the thing. Having a high-quality system, that's just the starting point. This is where the study delivers its most powerful and, honestly, most surprising insight. The researchers dug even deeper to find out what truly drives that feeling of usefulness, and the answer was not what anyone expected. Okay, so let's bust one of the biggest myths in software adoption. A lot of managers think, if I just make the system mandatory, if I force people to spend hours in it, eventually they'll come to appreciate it. Well, this research proves that is completely 100% wrong. The study actually tested this exact idea and found zero significant connection between the amount of time someone is forced to use a system and whether they actually find it useful. And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? Look at the impact of these different factors. System dependency, that's the hours of use. It's basically flat, no impact. System quality, which we just talked about, yeah, it has a moderate positive effect. But then look at that third bar. Information and knowledge quality. It absolutely dwarfs everything else. It's not even a fair fight. In fact, get this, the study found that the quality of the information the system gives back to the user explains a staggering 66% of their perceived usefulness. Just let that sink in for a second. 2/3 of whether an employee thinks a system is valuable comes down to one thing: how good is the information they get out of it? This quote, adapted right from the study, just nails it. It's not about how much time you spend clicking around inside the system. It's about what the system gives you back. Does it give you accurate, relevant information? Does it help you make a better decision? Or do your actual job faster? That is the only thing your users truly care about.
So the big question is, what do we do with this insight? This isn't just some interesting academic theory. The study gives us a really clear, evidence-based playbook for any manager who wants to stop wasting money on shelfware and start getting a real return on their tech investments.
It really boils down to 3 core strategies. Number 1, invest in your people, not just the technology. Number 2, obsess over the quality of the information the system provides. And number 3, demand high performance from the system itself. And we can connect this directly back to the research. When you prioritize amazing training and real ongoing support, you're directly boosting what the study calls service quality. When you design the whole process for easy data entry and, this is the most important part, clear, valuable outputs, you're hitting both input quality and that all-important information quality. And of course, when you make sure the system is fast, reliable, and well-integrated, you're nailing the general system attributes. Every action is directly tied to a factor that's been proven to increase its value. So if you only remember one thing from all of this, make it this. Stop looking at usage logs to measure success. A system's true value isn't about how much time your team spends inside it, it's about how much better and faster it helps them do their actual jobs. And that really leaves us with one final question for you to think about for your own company. Take a good, hard look at the tools you're giving your team. Are they genuine assets that actually help them? Or are they just complicated obstacles that people have learned to work around? Because this study proves that the answer isn't in a long list of features, but in the simple, powerful perception of your users.